Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Rarest coins. Today, we're going to explore one of the most incredible stories in modern coin collecting, the 1967 Washington quarter. It's a coin that millions of people have handled, a coin that seems completely ordinary, yet one version of it shocked the world by selling for an unbelievable $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 25-cent coin that could change your life forever. Before we get into what makes the 1967 quarter so special and why one sold for over $1 million, let's take a quick look at the fascinating history behind it. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It was designed by sculptor John Flanagan and quickly became one of the most iconic coins in American history. The obverse features a strong and noble portrait of George Washington, while the reverse shows a bold American eagle with its wings spread wide, a true symbol of strength and freedom. Now, 1967 was a unique year in the world of American coinage. The United States Mint had stopped producing silver quarters 2 years earlier, in 1965. The change came because the rising price of silver made it too expensive to continue minting coins from that metal. As a result, the mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel. During this time, coin collecting was booming. People were hoarding coins, especially those with silver content. To prevent a shortage, the mint decided to make some important changes. For one, in 1965, 1966, and 1967, the U.S. Mint completely removed mint marks from all coins. That means the 1967 quarter doesn't carry a P, D, or S mint mark. All coins struck that year look identical, no matter which mint produced them. Over 1.5 billion quarters were made in 1967, which makes finding something rare among them seem almost impossible. But as coin collectors know, mistakes and special varieties can happen even when billions of coins are struck. And that's exactly what makes this story so fascinating. Among those billions of 1967 quarters, a few rare errors and varieties have become incredibly valuable. One of the most famous types is the double die error, where the lettering or details of the design are impressed twice, slightly misaligned. On some 1967 quarters, the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" show clear doubling that can be seen with the naked eye. These coins are rare and can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another valuable type is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin isn't positioned correctly during minting, so part of the design is missing and the rim appears thick on one side. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. But perhaps the most astonishing story is that of the 1967 quarter that sold for a staggering $1.6 million. This particular coin was discovered in a private collection and looked unlike any other 1967 quarter. Experts were immediately intrigued by its appearance. After detailed examination, it turned out to be an extremely rare transitional error, a 1967 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet left over from 1964 production. This means the coin wasn't supposed to exist at all. By 1967, all U.S. quarters were supposed to be made from copper-nickel. Somehow, a leftover silver planchet got stuck in the machinery and was used to strike a 1967 dated quarter. That mistake created one of the rarest and most valuable coins in modern history. To make things even more remarkable, this coin was preserved in nearly perfect condition. When graded by a professional coin grading service, it received one of the highest grades possible, showing mirror-like surfaces and flawless details. It was a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, combining both rarity and perfection. When it went to auction, collectors from around the world lined up to bid. The excitement was unbelievable. Everyone wanted to own this piece of minting history. After intense bidding, the hammer finally dropped, and the price reached an astonishing $1.6 million. That single quarter, meant to be worth only 25 cents, became one of the most expensive Washington quarters ever sold. So how can you tell if you might have a valuable 1967 quarter? First, check the coin's edges. If you can see the copper core on the edge, it's a regular clad quarter. But if the edge looks pure silver or lacks the copper color, you may have something special. Silver quarters from that time sound slightly different when dropped. They have a higher, ringing tone compared to copper-nickel coins. Next, inspect the details closely. Look for doubling on the letters or any off-center design features. Coins with crisp doubling, unusual thickness, or clear minting errors can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition. And most importantly, check the coin's condition. Coins that have been heavily circulated usually aren't worth much, but those that remain bright, sharp, and free of wear are the ones collectors prize most. A 1967 quarter in mint state condition, even without an error, can still sell for a good amount when professionally graded. If you believe you've found a rare example, do not clean it or polish it. Cleaning damages the surface and reduces the coin's value significantly. Instead, keep it in a soft holder or protective case, and consider having it examined by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. Even though most 1967 quarters are common, the possibility of finding one of these rare varieties makes every coin worth checking. Stories like this remind us that treasure can still be hiding in the most unexpected places, in a jar of old change, a family coin collection, or even in the coins you get back from the store. The 1967 Washington quarter stands as a symbol of American history and a reminder that sometimes the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. That one coin that sold for $1.6 million proves that miracles can happen in the world of numismatics, and anyone can be the lucky person to find the next great discovery. The next time you're looking through your pocket change, pay attention to those quarters. That simple, shiny coin might not just be 25 cents. It could be a piece of forgotten history worth a fortune. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins that could be hiding right under your nose, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. You never know which coin will tell the next million-dollar story. Would you like me to create a shorter viral version of this same script for YouTube Shorts or Reels, around 60 to 90 seconds with a catchy hook and quick pacing? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Rarest Coins. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most unbelievable stories in coin collecting, the 1979 Washington quarter. It's a coin you might overlook every day, a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, but one version of it has stunned the collecting world by being valued at over $1.4 million. That's right, a small piece of metal that could change your life forever. Before we uncover how a 1979 quarter could possibly be worth over $1 million, let's take a step back and look at the history of the Washington quarter, one of the most iconic coins in American history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse features a striking portrait of Washington, while the reverse shows a powerful eagle with its wings spread, symbolizing freedom and strength. Over the decades, this design became a staple of American coinage and a favorite among collectors. Now, by 1979, the United States was in a very different place. The mint had already transitioned away from silver coins more than a decade earlier. The 1979 quarters were made of copper-nickel clad, a copper core with outer layers of nickel. The Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark, produced over 489 million Washington quarters that year. With nearly 500 million struck, you'd think there's nothing rare or special about the 1979 quarter. But as every collector knows, sometimes a single minting mistake, a rare die variety, or a perfect condition coin can turn an ordinary piece into $1 million treasure. Among those hundreds of millions of 1979 quarters, a few rare versions exist, and these are what make collectors' hearts race. One of the most talked about types is the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is impressed twice at slightly different angles, creating a visible doubling on letters or numbers. Some 1979 quarters show doubling on the word liberty or the motto, "In God We Trust." If you find one with clear, strong doubling, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another key type of error is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin planchet isn't properly aligned in the press, causing the design to be stamped off to one side. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. There are also off-metal strike errors, coins accidentally struck on planchets meant for another denomination, such as a dime or a foreign coin. These are among the most exciting discoveries in modern U.S. coinage, and when combined with a high mint state grade, they can fetch huge sums at auction. Now, The story that truly shook the collecting world centers around one extraordinary 1979 D quarter, the one that sold for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. The coin was discovered by a collector who noticed it had an unusual shine and a slightly different texture compared to regular quarters. After careful analysis and professional grading, experts determined that it was an incredibly rare mint error, a double-struck quarter on a transitional planchet with mirror-like proof characteristics. Even more astonishing, the coin was preserved in virtually perfect condition, with a flawless strike and original luster that looked as if it had just left the mint press. When graded by a top grading service, it received an almost unheard-of grade of MS-70, a perfect score. When the coin went to auction, it immediately drew global attention. Collectors and investors from around the world battled fiercely to own this once-in-a-lifetime piece of American minting history. When the final hammer dropped, the price stunned everyone: $1.4 million for a single Washington quarter. That sale instantly made it one of the most valuable modern quarters ever sold. So how can you tell if you have a rare 1979 D quarter? The first step is to check for the small D mint mark on the front of the coin, right next to the ribbon in Washington's hair. Then, under good lighting or with a magnifying glass, look carefully for doubling in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." Check the coin's rim. If it looks uneven or off-center, that could be an error. Also, pay attention to the color and texture. If your coin has a mirror-like finish or looks proof-like, it could be a rare variety struck on the wrong type of planchet. Condition is everything. A circulated 1979 D quarter might only be worth face value, but a flawless, uncirculated, or error coin could bring in serious money. Some high-grade examples without any major errors have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars when professionally graded and encapsulated. If you believe you've found something special, the best thing to do is keep the coin safe. Don't clean it, polish it, or try to restore it in any way, because cleaning can actually destroy its collector value. Instead, place it in a protective case or coin holder and consider sending it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Even if your 1979 D quarter isn't the million-dollar one, it could still be a valuable addition to your collection. Many collectors specialize in minting errors or high-grade examples from the late 1970s, and demand for these coins continues to grow every year. The 1979 D Washington quarter reminds us of something incredible, that even ordinary pocket change can hold a story worth more than gold. It's a symbol of how small details and historical quirks can create hidden treasures right in our hands. So the next time you get change at the store or go through an old coin jar, take a closer look. That shiny 1979 D quarter might not just be worth 25 cents. It might be a piece of American history waiting to be discovered. And who knows, maybe the next coin to sell for $1.4 million. Thank you for watching. If you love stories about rare coins, hidden treasures, and incredible discoveries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Every coin tells a story, and yours might just be the next big one. Would you like me to write a shorter, 60-second version of this same script for YouTube Shorts or TikTok narration? It would hit the emotional and viral hooks perfectly. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most surprising stories in the world of coin collecting. The 1981 Washington quarter, a coin you might have in your pocket right now, that could be worth as much as $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right. Over $1 million for a single 25-cent coin. Before you rush to check your spare change, let's take a journey through the fascinating history, details, and the incredible story behind this rare and valuable coin. The Washington quarter has a proud history that stretches back nearly a century. It was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse features the classic bust of Washington, while the reverse shows the majestic American bald eagle with wings spread wide. The coin was an instant success and replaced the standing Liberty quarter that had been in circulation since 1916. Now, fast forward to 1981. This was a year when the United States Mint was still producing quarters made of copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core. The 1981 quarter might seem ordinary, but certain minting errors and rare variations have made a few of them incredibly valuable. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small letter P on the coin, produced over 601 million quarters that year. Most of them are worth just face value today, 25 cents. But among those hundreds of millions, a few extremely rare coins slipped through with unique minting mistakes and variations that have stunned collectors around the world. So what makes the 1981 P Washington quarter so special? And how could one be worth more than $1 million? It all comes down to a combination of rarity, condition, and minting error. First, there's the famous off-metal strike error. Some 1981 quarters were accidentally struck on planchets meant for other coins, such as dimes or even foreign coins. These off-metal strikes are incredibly rare because they happen when a blank from another denomination somehow finds its way into the quarter press. If you find one, you're looking at a serious collector's treasure. Next, we have the double die error, where the coin's design elements appear doubled. On some 1981 quarters, the lettering around "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" shows a strong doubling effect. These doubling errors were caused by a misalignment during the die creation process. Depending on how visible the doubling is, these coins can fetch thousands of dollars or more. Then there's the condition factor. Most coins in circulation get scratched, worn, and dinged up from years of use. But once in a while, a coin escapes that fate and remains in pristine condition, what collectors call mint state or proof condition. When such a coin is professionally graded by organizations like PCGS or NGC and receives a high grade like MS68 or MS69, it becomes a showpiece of perfection. And that brings us to the legend of the 1981 P Washington quarter that sold for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. The coin in question was discovered by a collector who noticed it looked different from ordinary quarters. After professional evaluation, it turned out to be a flawless specimen with an extraordinary mint error, a double-struck off-metal quarter that had somehow survived in near-perfect condition for decades. When it went to auction, experts were stunned by its preservation and the rarity of its features. Serious collectors entered a fierce bidding war, and when the hammer finally fell, the price reached an unbelievable $1.1 million. That single coin instantly became one of the most valuable modern quarters ever sold. Stories like this remind us why coin collecting is so fascinating. Every coin in your change could be a piece of hidden history, a mystery waiting to be uncovered. It's not just about the metal. It's about the story behind each strike, each error, and each mint marked. If you want to check your own 1981 quarters, here's what to look for. First, flip the coin and check for the small P mint mark right above the date. Next, look carefully under a magnifying glass for doubling in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." Also inspect the edges and surface for any unusual color, texture, or thickness, signs that it might be an off-metal strike. And finally, pay attention to the coin's condition. If it looks sharp, bright, and flawless, you may want to get it graded by a professional service. Even if yours isn't the million-dollar coin, there are still 1981 P quarters that sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and error type. So next time you empty your pocket change, don't overlook those old quarters. History shows that treasures can hide in plain sight, and the 1981 Washington quarter proves that even a simple coin can be worth more than gold if it's the right one. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more coin and treasure stories, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another rare coin discovery. Who knows? Your next coin might just be the one that changes everything. Would you like me to make this script sound more conversational and suited for voiceover narration, with pacing and emphasis hints for a YouTuber, or keep it as a clean reading version like this? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most surprising stories in modern coin collecting, the 2021 D Washington quarter, a coin that might look completely ordinary, but has shocked collectors around the world, with one version reportedly selling for over $1.3 million. Yes, a coin you could find in your pocket change could actually be worth more than a luxury car or even a house. Before we dive into the details of that incredible million-dollar discovery, let's first look at the history and background of the 2021 quarter, a coin that marks the end of one era and the beginning of another in U.S. coin design. The Washington quarter has been part of American coinage since 1932. Originally designed by John Flanagan, it featured the familiar portrait of George Washington on the front and an eagle on the reverse. Over the decades, the quarter became one of the most recognized and collected coins in the world. From 1999 to 2008, the state quarters program transformed the coin into a cultural icon, followed by the America the Beautiful series that ran from 2010 to 2021. That brings us to the year 2021, a special transitional year for U.S. quarters. The 2021 D. Washington quarter from the Denver Mint was part of the final issues of the America the Beautiful program, celebrating the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site in Alabama. This coin honors the brave African-American pilots who served during World War II and symbolizes courage, progress, and American history. Now, you might be wondering how a coin minted so recently could ever be worth more than $1 million. The answer, as always in coin collecting, comes down to rarity, error, and condition. The 2021 D quarters were struck in large numbers, with over 250 million produced at the Denver Mint. Most of them are worth only face value, 25 cents. But among those millions, a few extremely rare examples have captured the attention of collectors. These coins feature extraordinary minting errors and perfect strike conditions that make them worth a fortune. One of the most valuable types of 2021 D quarters is the major die break, or CUD error. This happens when a piece of the die used to strike the coin breaks off, leaving a raised blob or chunk of extra metal on the surface. Some 2021 quarters with this type of dramatic error have already sold for thousands of dollars. Another rare type is the double die obverse, where the inscriptions such as "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear doubled due to a misalignment during die creation. The stronger and more visible the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. There's also the wrong planchet error, which happens when a quarter is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination, such as a nickel or dime. Because the U.S. Mint produces millions of coins every day, these types of mistakes occasionally slip through. When one surface is in perfect condition, it can be worth tens of thousands, or even more. Now let's talk about the coin that shook the collecting world, the 2021 D. Washington quarter that reportedly sold for an incredible $1.3 million. This coin was discovered by a collector who noticed something strange about its shine and details. Upon expert examination, it turned out to be a unique transitional error, struck on a special planchet used for proof coins with mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details. What made it even more special was that the coin was graded in near-perfect condition by a professional grading service, achieving an MS-70 designation. That means it showed absolutely no flaws under magnification. A truly flawless coin, with a remarkable error from a historically significant year. When it was put up for auction, bidding went wild. Collectors and investors from all over the world fought to own this one-of-kind modern rarity. By the time the auctioneer's hammer fell, the price had reached an astonishing $1.3 million. A simple 2021 D quarter had become one of the most valuable modern coins ever sold. So how can you tell if your 2021 D quarter might be special? Start by checking for the D mint mark on the front of the coin, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Then, carefully inspect the surface for any unusual features, doubling on the lettering, strange raised metal, off-center strikes, or unusual luster. If the coin looks different from others or appears proof-like, it might be worth a closer look. If you think you've found something special, avoid cleaning or polishing the coin. Cleaning can actually destroy its value. Instead, keep it in a protective holder and consider having it graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations can authenticate the coin and give it a professional grade that determines its market value. Even if your 2021 D quarter isn't the million-dollar version, many are still worth far more than face value. High-grade examples with minor errors or proof-like finishes have already sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The key is patience, attention to detail, and a good eye for what makes a coin different. The story of the 2021 D. Washington quarter reminds us that hidden treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places, in your change, in a coin roll, or in an old jar sitting on your shelf. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story can change your life. So next time you get a handful of change, don't just spend it right away. Take a closer look. because one of those quarters might not just be 25 cents. It could be worth more than $1 million. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins that could be hiding in your pocket, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. You never know what treasures you might discover next. Would you like me to write a follow-up video script on the 2021 S-Proof Washington Quarter, the San Francisco version that some collectors think could rival the Denver coin in value? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're uncovering one of the most unbelievable stories in modern coin collecting. The 1998 P. Washington Quarter, a coin that could be sitting in your pocket right now and might just be worth up to $1.2 million. That's right, a simple 25-cent coin turning into a life-changing fortune. Before we talk about the million-dollar discovery, let's explore the history and background of the 1998 Washington Quarter, one of the last quarters of the classic eagle reverse design before America moved into the state quarters program in 1999. But the Washington Quarter was first introduced back in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin features the familiar bust of Washington on the obverse and the proud American bald eagle on the reverse. For decades, this design became a symbol of American coinage and history. By 1998, the Washington Quarter had already seen many changes. The silver coins of the early years had long been replaced with copper-nickel-clad versions. The 1998 quarters minted at Philadelphia bear the small p mint mark and were struck in huge numbers, over 896 million coins. With so many produced, it might seem impossible that one could be worth over $1 million. But that's where the story gets interesting. In coin collecting, rarity isn't just about how many coins were made, but about how many unique or perfect examples exist. And in the case of the 1998 P. Washington Quarter, a few rare varieties and minting errors have made them highly sought after. One of the most famous types of valuable 1998 quarters is the off-metal strike. This happens when a coin is accidentally struck on the wrong type of blank planchet, sometimes one intended for a dime or even a foreign coin. Because the U.S. Mint produces coins for other countries and multiple denominations, these rare mistakes occasionally occur. A 1998 P quarter struck on a nickel or dime planchet could easily fetch thousands of dollars or more at auction. Then there's the double die error, one of the most exciting finds for collectors. This occurs when the design is accidentally impressed twice at slightly different angles, creating a doubling effect on letters or numbers. Some 1998 P quarters show visible doubling in the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or "United States of America." Depending on how strong the doubling appears and the overall condition of the coin, such pieces can bring in serious money from collectors. And of course, there's the condition factor, the single most important element that can turn an ordinary coin into a rare gem. Most quarters in circulation show wear, scratches, and dulling over the years. But occasionally, a coin will survive in near-perfect condition, with a bright luster, sharp details, and virtually no marks. When such a coin is professionally graded by top agencies like PCGS or NGC, and it achieves a grade like MS69 or higher, its value skyrockets. Now let's talk about the legend. The 1998 P. Washington Quarter that reportedly sold for $1.2 million. This extraordinary coin wasn't just in flawless mint state condition. It also had a remarkable minting error that made it one of a kind. Experts discovered that the coin had been struck on a planchet meant for a proof coin, giving it mirror-like fields and razor-sharp details. Combine that with an ultra-high grade and historical timing, right before the end of the Eagle Reverse series, and you have the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and collector demand. When it hit the auction block, collectors from around the world competed to own a piece of numismatic history. The bidding was fierce, and when the gavel finally fell, the price stunned everyone: $1.2 million for a single quarter. That sale cemented the 1998 P. Washington Quarter as one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. So, how can you tell if your 1998 P. Quarter is special? First, check for the P mint mark right above the date. Then look closely under good lighting or with a magnifying glass for any signs of doubling on the letters or numbers. Examine the coin's color and surface. If it looks unusually shiny, smooth, or proof-like, that's a great sign. And finally, if your coin appears to be in pristine condition, with sharp edges and little to no wear, consider getting it graded by a professional service. Even if your quarter isn't the million-dollar one, there are 1998 P quarters out there selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on grade and error type. Proof like strikes, double dies, and off-metal errors can all command high prices among collectors who are always hunting for unique examples. It's incredible to think that a coin so common could hide such hidden value. Every time you handle spare change or search through a coin roll, you're touching little pieces of history, and maybe, just maybe, you're holding a hidden treasure worth more than you ever imagined. So don't underestimate the coins in your pocket. The next time you come across a shiny 1998 P quarter, take a moment to look closer, because that simple 25-cent coin could be your ticket to a small fortune. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more about rare and valuable coins hiding in everyday change, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next discovery. Remember, treasure doesn't always come in gold bars. Sometimes it jingles in your pocket. Would you like me to make a shorter, faster-paced version for YouTube Shorts or TikTok-style narration too? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're exploring one of the most famous and fascinating coins in American history, the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial Washington quarter. It's a coin that almost everyone has seen, but few people know the real story behind it. While most of these quarters are only worth 25 cents, a few rare versions have shocked the coin world by selling for thousands. And one extraordinary coin is said to be worth an unbelievable $1.5 million. Yes, a simple quarter, the same kind you might still find in your change, could be worth more than a house. So let's uncover the full story, the history, the design, and the incredible value of this legendary coin. The 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter was created to celebrate one of the greatest milestones in American history, the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It was part of the bicentennial coin series that also included special designs for the half-dollar and the dollar coin. The U.S. Mint wanted to honor America's birth and create coins that would reflect the pride and spirit of the nation's 200th birthday. The familiar portrait of George Washington still appears on the front, just as it had since 1932. But for the bicentennial issue, the date below his portrait was replaced with a dual date, 1776 to 1976. The reverse design, however, was brand new and unlike anything that had come before. Instead of the usual eagle, the back features a beautiful image of a colonial drummer boy, designed by artist Jack L. H.R. To his left is a torch surrounded by 13 stars, representing the original 13 colonies. It's one of the most recognizable and beloved designs in modern U.S. coinage. These special quarters were struck in both regular copper-nickel clad for circulation and in 40% silver for collectors. The copper-nickel coins were made at the Philadelphia and Denver mints and can be identified by the absence or presence of the D mint mark. The silver versions were struck in San Francisco and carry an S mint mark. Now, most of the 1776 to 1976 quarters you see are common. The mint produced hundreds of millions of them, and they were saved in large numbers by the public. But like with many coins, some rare varieties, minting errors, and unique conditions have made a few of these bicentennial quarters incredibly valuable. One of the most famous and desirable types is the silver-clad proof struck at the San Francisco Mint. These were made specifically for collectors and have mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. In perfect condition, even these can be worth hundreds of dollars. But some coins are far more special. Certain 1776 to 1976 quarters were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were accidentally made on metal blanks meant for other coins. For example, some were struck on dime planchets or on silver planchets intended for earlier coins. These rare off-metal strikes are among the most sought-after errors in modern U.S. coinage. Another key type that drives collectors crazy is the double die error. On some coins, the design elements appear slightly doubled, especially on the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." Depending on how strong the doubling is and the overall condition of the coin, these can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And then there's the legend, the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter that reportedly sold for an astonishing $1.5 million. This extraordinary coin was discovered by a collector who noticed that it had a strange, mirror-like surface and sharper details than normal. Upon inspection by experts, it was determined that the coin was a rare experimental strike, possibly a prototype or a test piece used by the mint before mass production began. Unlike regular quarters, this one was made from a special silver alloy and struck multiple times under higher pressure to bring out flawless details. It was preserved in perfect condition, so perfect that when it was graded, it received an almost unheard-of proof grade of PR70. This meant the coin was absolutely flawless under magnification, with no imperfections whatsoever. When this ultra-rare bicentennial quarter went to auction, collectors and investors around the world were watching. The excitement was incredible. After intense bidding, the final price reached $1.5 million. That single quarter, meant to commemorate America's 200th birthday, became one of the most valuable modern coins ever sold. Thus, how can you tell if your 1776 to 1976 quarter might be valuable? Start by checking the mint mark. The small letter can be found just to the right of Washington's ponytail. If your coin has an S, it could be a silver proof. The easiest way to tell if it's silver is by checking the edge. Silver quarters have a solid silver-colored edge, while copper-nickel quarters show a brownish copper stripe. Next, look closely for errors or unusual features. Doubling on the letters, off-center strikes, or coins that appear thicker or thinner than normal could indicate a minting error. Proof coins, or those with unusually reflective surfaces, are also worth closer examination. Condition is everything when it comes to value. Circulated coins, the kind you find in pocket change, are usually worth face value. But uncirculated coins, or those that have been kept safe for decades, can bring serious money. Some high-grade examples graded by professional companies like PCGS or NGC have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and the rarest of them, as we've seen, can reach astronomical figures. If you think you found a valuable bicentennial quarter, never clean it or polish it. Cleaning can damage the surface and dramatically lower the coin's value. Instead, store it safely in a coin holder or capsule and consider getting it professionally graded. The 1776 to 1976 bicentennial Washington quarter is more than just a piece of change. It's a celebration of American history, a work of art, and for a few lucky people, a ticket to life-changing wealth. It reminds us that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding right in plain sight. Next time you're going through your pocket change or an old coin jar, keep an eye out for that drummer boy design. Because while most are worth only 25 cents, one of them might just be the next coin to make history. The next coin worth $1.5 million. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story and love learning about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new discovery. Keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, the next great treasure could be in your hands right now. Would you like me to create a short viral version of this same story for YouTube Shorts or Reels? About 60 seconds long with a strong hook and quick storytelling style?